South Africa. What if I told you that Julius Malema, yes, that Malema, just said on national television that he prefers an Afrikaner over an Englishman? You heard right? The same man who sings "Kill the Boer" at rallies just said that on live television. He didn't stutter, he didn't joke, he was calm, deliberate, and dead serious. And this is stunning. Not because I misunderstood Malema, but because I finally understood what he's been trying to tell us about white South Africa and about us. Let's go straight to the source.
If you put an Englishman here and put an Afrikaner here and make me choose, I'll choose Afrikaner.
Why?
Because you know what you are dealing with.
You
a racist of note. He doesn't pretend. He doesn't create an impression that we're together when we're not together. Actually, the other second point I like about Afrikaners is that majority of them have got one passport. So their loyalty is with this country. They might have a difficulty of identifying with us as one thing because they believe in two nations in one country. But these other ones, white liberals that Biko had a problem with, are the most dangerous people who during the day denounces all manner of things, and then they go behind closed walls to speak very bad about us and exclude us from our own economy. Afrikaners have fought. They fought against the British. They fought against their colonial suppression in the country because they too were oppressed and had to fight for their own liberation against the British colonialism. So those are the kind of people that I will deal. There's no white person I can drive to the sea. I don't want to do that.
Malema calmly tells Tabane that if he were forced to choose between an Englishman and an Afrikaner, he would choose the Afrikaner. He explains that Afrikaners are straightforward. They don't pretend to like you. They don't fake unity. They don't talk reconciliation during the day and exclusion behind closed doors. They stay in South Africa. They invest in it. Most only hold one passport. They are rooted here. That line hit me like a train. They have only one passport. Do you know what that means? He's talking about loyalty, about honesty, about being here to fight and face the consequences with everyone else, black or white. And he says, when it comes to white liberals, the so-called allies, they're the real danger. The ones who say all the right things in public, but undermine us in boardrooms, banking halls, and behind policy curtains. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect him to say this. I didn't think I'd agree with it. But the more I dug into it, the more I realized he's telling the truth that most are too scared to say out loud. Because here's the uncomfortable fact. Many white liberals speak transformation, but protect the gate to economic access like prison guards. Steve Biko saw this in the 1970s. He said it straight. White liberals spend all their time proving they're not racist instead of dismantling racism. They center themselves. They dominate the conversation. And when it's time to take action, they vanish. Or worse, they block black advancement while pretending to help. Malema is picking that wound wide open. And when JJ Tabane tries to bring it back to race tensions, he asks Malema, are you reaching out to these groups? Malema goes even deeper.
But are you reaching out to these people to see what their fears? You remember even with the 94 era coming, there was always this thing about white fears, black aspirations, contradistinction between the two, etc. Looks like we're back there because white people seem to still be in this corner, and that's why you have organizations that are mobilizing on the basis of that fear. How do you conquer that? I mean, listen to what John Steenhuisen said after your 10th anniversary, talking about trying to hype the issue of kill the Boer, and then even said there is genocide and went overseas and what have you. And that just showed that there's still a sense in which people can mobilize whites against something like the EFF that is talking about transformation, etc., big issues about land, what that may be seen to be threatening Afrikaners.
Well, there's nothing I can do to contest with swart gevaar. It's a swart gevaar, it's not real.
He responds that we're living in the same cycle as 1994, white fears versus black aspirations. He calls out DA leader John Steenhuisen for weaponizing the Kill the Boer chant, calling it genocide and running to the international media with lies. Let's break this down. That chant, Kill the Boer, comes from the anti-apartheid struggle. It's not about murder, it's about resistance. South African courts have ruled it as protected political speech, not hate speech. But Steenhuisen knew that. He knew what it meant. Still, he played dumb, ran ran with the narrative and triggered white panic to discredit the EFF and Malema's message about land and transformation. Malema is not shocked. He says it outright. This is swart gevaar all over again. Let's talk about that. Swart gevaar, or black danger, is one of apartheid's oldest weapons. It was designed to make white South Africans fear the black majority, fear black rule, fear transformation. And Malema is saying that same script is being recycled today by the DA, by the media, and yes, by so-called white allies to keep black people out of power. It's about fear. It's about maintaining control. It's about painting any form of black power, land redistribution, economic justice, even cultural pride as a threat. And I'm telling you this now, that fear isn't real. It's manufactured. It's weaponized. It's political. Then Malema hits us with something that honestly broke me. He shifts from critiquing whites to critiquing us.
Because look at these African right-wingers. They build universities, they build schools. We don't do anything school. And then you look at the types of cars we drive. We look at the types of houses we stay in. If we cut anything we have by half, not all of it, and put together, we can build the most beautiful school.
He points to Afrikaners, how they build schools, universities, entire towns like Orania. He says they invest in their future. Meanwhile, black communities are more concerned with flashy cars, big houses, and social status. He says if we took just half of what we owned and pooled it together, we could build the most beautiful schools in this country. That's not an attack. That's not hate. That's a call to wake up, because we do have the resources. We do have the numbers. We do have the talent, but we lack unity, vision, long-term planning. Afrikaners have something we haven't mastered yet: institutional culture. They don't just talk, they build. They don't wait for government. They organize. They don't sabotage each other for status. They create legacy. And if you think Malema is wrong, ask yourself, how many black-owned schools do you know? How many black-run universities have been built post-apartheid? How many young black children are still locked out of quality education because we have not prioritized collective investment? This is where Malema's statement becomes more than shocking. It becomes an indictment of all of us, because we know how to protest. We know how to debate. But do we know how to build? Do we know how to construct institutions that last for decades? Do we know how to invest beyond ourselves? That's what this moment is about. Now here's what makes this explosive. Malema isn't praising the Afrikaners' racism or apartheid history. He's acknowledging their discipline, loyalty, and strategic thinking, and contrasting it with what we are failing to do. It's not flattery, it's a challenge. He's asking, why are the very people who oppressed us outbuilding us in 2024? And what are we doing about it? Are we crying about land but failing to create co-ops, farming collectives, or even black-owned construction companies? Are we fighting for justice online, but unwilling to invest in a local school, a coding hub, or a youth center? Let me make something clear to all of you watching. Malema's statement is not just about race. It's about clarity versus confusion, reality versus illusion, work versus performance. He's not afraid to offend people because the stakes are too high. He's confronting the double standards of liberalism. He's confronting the myths of equality. And most importantly, he's confronting our own internal failures as black South Africans. So what do we do with this? First, we stop pretending white liberalism is a solution. Good intentions mean nothing without action. Smiling at us while rejecting our business proposals, blocking our funding, or outvoting us in parliament is not allyship. Second, we start taking serious ownership of our future. Enough with chasing aesthetics. Enough with waiting for the state. Enough with pretending tweets are activism. It's time to build what we don't see. If Afrikaners could build Stellenbosch, we can build our own universities. If Afrikaners can run private banks, we can build cooperative banking. If Afrikaners can build towns like Orania, we can build black-owned eco-villages, agricultural corridors, and tech hubs, but only if we believe in ourselves enough to act. Let's end on this. Malema isn't saying we must love Afrikaners. He's saying we must learn from their strategy, because the real betrayal is not choosing an Afrikaner over an Englishman. The real betrayal is choosing comfort over change, choosing fear over power, choosing excuses over legacy. And if that shocks you, good. It means you're waking up. This is the Commander. Let's talk in the comments. Do you agree with Malema's take? Is white liberalism more dangerous than Afrikaner conservatism? And more importantly, what are we going to build today? Because this fight is not about the past. It's about who will build the future and who's still pretending.